Hello and welcome to the Sorry I Like This podcast. My name is Caleb and I'm joined by my fellow co-host Ezra. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, pretty good. We've got a monster of a show. Not in terms of like there isn't like a ton of individual news pieces, but there's just a lot to talk about.
Right. Yeah, these news pieces are fun. We had to postpone bi-weekly our podcast for a week due to personal stuff, but we're back this week and boy did we get punished as far as news goes because we got a lot to talk about, and including something that's very intriguing, but also sad a little bit. Not necessarily sad, but it's sad because well, I'm just going to talk about it, okay?
Okay.
We're just going to go right into it. I've been following this for a couple weeks now. Probably a little bit over a month, but it didn't stem into actual legitimate news until today. Okay. And I will say I don't like to report on leaks um, without like any kind of credibility to it.
Mhm.
But we got some pretty big credibility today, so I'm very excited. Ezra, do you have any idea what I'm about to talk about?
So you say leaks
Uh
and
huh.
uh a couple of things happen. Uh the first one that I actually went to was Sonic because the next Sonic game got leaked by like I think I heard it was
Mhm.
like four different sources all leaked like the exact same game, and at that point it's like
Mhm.
okay that seems pretty credible.
Right.
But then it's probably not Sonic just because like I know you're not like in deep on that community in the same way that I am. So my brain then goes to like, could it be Smash? Could it be, Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts? I legit. Oh, and then actually, I know exactly what this is now that I've thought about it out loud. Uh, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you confirm it for me.
Did you see anything today? Is this could be in relation to that?
I think
I'm
I
trying
saw it
to.
yesterday.
Okay, well, this came out today,
Oh, okay.
so um, as of 10:45 a.m. According to X, formerly Twitter. Um, this is a official tweet here, um, and it is a court filing. Bum 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 for Epic Games versus I'll just say the Twitter name
Uh,
Adira. Bum bum bum. uh, so in case you don't know, Epic Games is the parent company of Fortnite,
yeah.
and there is a culture, like
Hmm.
a leaking culture, exclusive
Yeah.
culture when it comes to Fortnite and upcoming collabs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I would say that's most live games, actually. I think
yes,
like most live service games have a very like the um like Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, which is a mobile game, has a very like uh almost like a rotation of like when the update hits, it's immediately data mined, and you see, and everybody sees and knows
right.
everything that's in the game already. Um,
And
So yeah,
that's largely it. Like, I mean, most of the leaks are either very fake, A, or B, they're data mined and going to come out within the next day. So it's like usually it's
yeah,
never a big deal, right?
yeah.
Um, in this case, the Twitter user, uh, that is his gamer tag is Adira. This Twitter user was leaking things way ahead of time. Like
Okay.
he had some inside. He had
Yeah.
some inside information. He was the one that leaked the South Park collab that was a month ago. So
Okay.
that's what really gained his uh, popularity, right?
Yeah.
Um, and since then, he has leaked quite a few big franchises, quite a few. And eh, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I think I know where you're driving, and also I was definitely talking about something else earlier.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, so we'll get to that after this.
um, so this is, obviously Epic's very upset because that ruins up their partnerships with their
Yeah.
collaborators, and obviously there's some of this stuff that I could definitely see them not wanting getting leaked.
Hmm.
Um, and so about a week ago, I think it was about a week ago, this Twitter user just was wiped out,
Hmm.
gone, no contacts, nobody knew what happened, right?
Yeah.
And I remember seeing, I'm like, oh, that's fishy. But again, even though it probably confirmed my thoughts then, I still didn't want to like openly talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we get the court filing today of this case. And it's kind of crazy because now I haven't like gone into the full court filing yet, but clearly he did leak it, and they do reference the South Park leak
Hmm.
indefinitely. Like, and one of the things that I don't like about leaks is it doesn't um the it kind of spoils surprises,
Yeah.
right? And leaking culture I really try to avoid because of that reason.
Hmm.
However, just sometimes this type of stuff you can't escape from it. Some stuff is just so big that it's hard to not recognize.
Yeah.
So I will say, I guess for our listeners, a little disclaimer, I might be going into what could be upcoming collaborations. So if you want to fast forward a little bit, I would recommend it. But the if you are interested, I'll say there's some pretty big heavy hitters
Yeah.
coming up that I would say is pretty much confirmed at this point.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like
It's one
at
of
least
those
this is
things where like if you're a company, you're kind of in a rock and a hard place because it's like you
right.
if you acknowledge it, you are or if you like send the cease and desist or whatever,
Mhm.
you're acknowledging it and therefore sort of legitimizing it, like, and you don't really want to be doing that, but then
Hmm.
like if you just allow it to continue, that's also like
Right.
not really something you want to be doing. So it's sort of a hard yeah, it's a tough position to be in, I think.
And then there's
Um
the go and then there's the going thing of like, Epic could not like it also could not like what this person leaked for the future could also just not be true, right?
yeah.
And he could have been right about the other two, and gained his credibility that way, and then maybe Epic didn't want the
Yeah.
spread of misinformation, or they're just really upset that they spoiled those the two collaborations. I think the other one they reference is Solo Leveling. Um,
Oh, okay.
as being spoiled. So, granted, we're speaking on speculation a little bit,
Yeah.
but the well, actually, this entire discussion now is probably going to turn to speculation. I do want to point that out. Like, you know, it's
Yeah,
hard
nothing
not
is
to
100% confirmed.
right. It's hard not to talk about it though.
Yeah.
So, and especially for what we are into, I think this is pretty big.
Mhm.
Um, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, getting into it, not knowing, I'm very like, this is like Fortnite leaks and really Fortnite anything. I'm very
Mm,
disconnected from. Like I will happen to see like, oh, Dragon Ball is in Fortnite, Naruto's in Fortnite,
right.
stuff like that, and I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I'll maybe hop in and play some games if I'm like super interested. But the but I do. So that said, the two that I was kind of referencing at the top, Sonic and Kingdom Hearts, are like kind of the big
Hmm.
uh I know are kind of the big names that keep, getting floated over and over and over again.
Hmm.
So I think so those are, to me, the like big ones. And then obviously, Marvel and uh
Yeah.
Disney in general are uh always gonna be, center stage, just because that's Disney quite literally owns like a competing stake in
Right.
Epic Games. So
Yeah. I mean, we'll just say, like, I mean, the stuff that he leaked, um, like, you know, there were big franchises like Game of Thrones being one of them,
mhm.
and then you know, Sonic was leaked
Yeah,
by Adira, and
which,
so is Kingdom Hearts.
yeah, didn't Sonic get like some like vehicle skins or something? Am I
Not officially.
hallucinating that? Oh, okay.
I can't remember. Um,
It's I
but
yeah. Either way, it is still like uh it's one of those things where, yeah, like, you were talking earlier about how leaks, ruin partnerships and stuff, and I think that rings really true because last year, uh when Sonic Crossworlds was still doing the marketing cycle. I think everything through the it was either I think it was through the Minecraft DLC.
Hmm.
So like I think it was like or no, I think it was through the SpongeBob DLC. I think we knew about SpongeBob before SpongeBob ever got
Hmm.
revealed. And uh not the most like earth-shattering reveal, certainly not as cool as something like Mega Man, but uh Izuka, who's the, lead producer on at Sonic Team,
Hmm.
uh publicly came out and said like, yeah, no, like the reason leaks like this are such a problem is they ruin, these brand partnerships that we have. And uh and so I think that's like a very real thing that people kind of forget about. Like my heart isn't necessarily weeping for the, corporate overlords who decide who does and doesn't get into Fortnite, but
Hmm.
uh but I do think it's one of those things, like, if you want cool things in Fortnite, you do have to kind of play by the rules a little bit. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Right.
it's one of those things where it's like, you know, in a perfect world, I think everything should be in Fortnite for completely free and all this stuff. But like, the fact of the matter is, all of these IPs are owned by somebody who, you know, and they have all of this legal red tape that's designed to uh, make it very costly if something goes very wrong. And these
Hmm.
kinds of things leaking is an example of that. So,
Yeah.
while it is very much like a victimless crime to me, uh, especially like once something has leaked,
It's hard to come back from it.
well, it's hard to come back from it. But also, like, I think there are a lot of people who like morally posture about about like, I don't look at leaked content, and I think that that's very strange because it's like you're allowed to look at stuff that is publicly available, right?
Right.
You're not the one who data mined that, right? Like,
Hmm.
like, the interests that you're hurting aren't any individual persons, right? Like, you're
Right.
like uh and it's very different from if, like, uh you know the latest Pokemon game comes out, and they always break street dates because Pokemon is the biggest money franchise thing in the history of the universe. So like, it's you know it has the most like rabid fan base of pretty much anything ever. And so like, it's very different. Like, okay, maybe you shouldn't go and download the latest Pokemon game 2 weeks before release,
Right.
right? But looking at publicly available information is just like normal. Like, it's just
Right.
like, and the uh yeah, the problem is very much that, like, I think a lot of it kind of boils down to like this sort of manufactured like this sort of manufactured um fear of missing out. Like,
Hmm.
like they want to create this like spectacle of every of like some of these bigger collabs when the fact
Yeah,
of the matter is like they could have a slate like an like a roadmap of like here is every
right.
collaboration and they would still do the same numbers that they always do, right?
I would agree with
The
that.
like it's really not uh like Fortnite is so big that like it might as well kind of be self-sustaining at this point, which is a
Right.
whole other conversation.
Mhm.
um but like yeah, the
The
fact of
games,
the
the games could be what, a decade old next year.
is that right? Yeah, like it, yeah, well, and like it you know, yeah, it has become a pop culture um like landmark almost, like or not a no, like a like I you know like a sun almost, you know, that everything kind of orbits around. Like it, you know,
Right.
it's you know, because you know you play as like Michael Scott from The Office,
Right.
and you could play as Michael Scott from The Office, jump into the air and hit Darth Vader with a Kamehameha. Like that, like that's a crazy sentence, and you can do it inside Fortnite
Hmm.
at the cost of like you know maybe $20, something like that.
Right.
Like people who watched The Office don't know what Fortnite is,
Hmm.
and so when it was coming out.
Yeah.
Um, so like I just think it's one of those things where I agree that like leaking has consequences. Um, but I do think that like I don't think a lot of people I think the nature of these kinds of leaks is very different from the nature of like The Last of Us Part 2 leaks, if that makes any sense.
Hmm. I get you. No,
So,
I get that. Yeah, I remember those. That was a day.
yeah. That was a whole
um,
saga. That like kicked off an entire culture war.
right. Um, I will say just before we move on real quick, you know, the interesting thing as a Kingdom Hearts fan
Mhm.
is that we've had no grain of new no we're, we're starving right now as far as
Yeah.
news goes for that franchise for what is it going on 4 years now since the
Yeah.
trailer, like, like, I mean, we got that little snippet last year, but it could be a sign, a pretty good sign that like the
Yeah.
franchise is about to not be dormant again,
Yeah.
and it is confirming what I personally feel, that I feel like if we're going to get anything from Kingdom Hearts, it's going to be in this first half of the year, not in the second half. If we reach the halfway point in the year, we haven't gotten Kingdom Hearts yet, it's not going to be until the following year. I really do believe that. Um, as far as news related, now I'm not talking about release. I'm just talking about news related stuff. Um, I think
Sure.
the anniversary is a big shot. I think Summer Games Fest is also a big shot.
Okay. I was going to
Um,
ask if you thought Summer Game Fest was kind of your cutoff, and I
See,
think that makes
yeah,
sense.
it really is largely, and I'm not just saying Summer Games Fest in general. I put that in the broader category of, Summer Games Fest, PlayStation Showcase, the Nintendo
Yeah.
Direct, and even the Xbox Showcase,
Yeah.
all that kind of lumped into one because they're always around relatively the same time. Now it's like a month span, so like
Yeah.
that mid May to late June span like that, I'd say anything past July 1st, we're not getting it. Like that is my personal belief, and I feel like this kind of lines up with my theory, so to speak, that we are imminent. Um,
Yeah.
and I guess that's what really largely I wanted to kind of report, like not necessarily report, but like to kind of speculate on. You
Yeah.
know, I mean these are. I mean, this could, like I said, it could all be fake for all we know. But
Yeah.
I mean, you put two and two together, it's kind of interesting to talk about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think it would
and
be really,
yeah. No,
I
go
think
ahead.
it'd be really fun. I think it would be a really fun collab to have Sonic in the game.
Oh,
Just
sure.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the um to me it's like the second that leaker got nuked out of existence, it's like, okay, like he's at least got to be like kind of on the money, right? Like that, like
Yeah,
you don't just like nuke an entire Twitter account out of existence out of nowhere,
exactly.
and then you find out that like, oh, that guy's getting sued. Oh, okay, yeah, like uh that's pretty obvious to me.
Right.
Yeah, whether or not, I mean,
The
I
craziest part is like it feels like Game of Thrones is the stretch, right? Like,
yeah,
but then there
kinda.
was the South Park collab.
Yeah, South
Like,
Park. Yeah,
they're
I don't
going
know.
into mature like collaborations now. So
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's uh, what's the word? Excuse me. I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where, like, try as they might, like, all of these other live services are always going to be in the shadow of Fortnite.
uh,
Um, and so, like, Fortnite is just going to eventually have just, I mean, I think Epic's, kind of stated goal for Fortnite is to become uh the virtual social space, right? You know if everybody were able to have VR uh and like, it's, like the Matrix, right? And you just kind of
yeah,
dive in and you can walk and talk, and it's, kind of a shared thing. It's like, okay, like that's very obviously like kind of what they're driving towards. Whether or not they'll actually able to pull it off is a complete and total mystery to me. But
mhm.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's largely it. Like, I thought it was, fun to kind of open the show about this. Like,
yeah.
it's kind of breaking. We got some large news topics to talk about, but I think for us as fans,
Yeah.
of these franchises that could be collabed. I mean, like you said, you're not into like you don't play Fortnite even that much. I play it semi casually. You know, this is
Hmm.
like a great way for me to get back in. Like
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, I'll be
it
logging in. Yeah.
would be definitely a shut up and take my money moment. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just those would be, it's funny to talk about.
Yeah.
But also it really is unfortunate, the situation, and I don't want to make light of it. It's I can't emphasize enough how much unknown this all stuff is. We're just speculating.
Yeah.
Um And so I guess before we move on, I'm curious now, Ezra, what was the one that you thought I
Yeah.
I was about to break?
So yesterday, I was reading on Gamatsu. I forgot to send it to you, but I was on Gamatsu and I saw that there was this whole uh, Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
brand update that happened,
Mhm.
and yeah, I mean, there wasn't like a whole lot. Like, they
Right.
confirmed the uh
Essentially everything that's been leaked so far. Like, you
yeah,
know,
like the Black Flag remake,
yeah.
the there's like an Assassin's Creed Unity uh PS5 and Xbox update.
Which would be huge
Yeah,
in my eyes.
yeah, which is,
Give
yeah,
that game
legitimately
some
cool.
more life, put some more people onto it because honestly, like I said, very underrated title. Um and yeah, I guess I'd be more excited than that than Black Flag. I still find it curious. I understand why they're doing it, but also there's a side of me that hates it. Hates it
Sure.
because it is like the epitome of where I think the franchise really started to lose its identity of where they wanted to go with it because they saw Black Flag as a blueprint of audiences what a general audience would want, and I think it alienated what the more hardcore, actual lore
Yeah.
fans of the series that I think there was a disconnect that started at that moment that wasn't so obvious. That didn't really start to play until later installments that you could really tell that, like, yeah, they're really trying to focus on the what made Black Flag so great. And I've still argued to this game it is a pirate game and doesn't become an Assassin's Creed game until the literal end. I will stand by that. Um, and maybe the remake kind of changes that aspect a bit of it, but I think it's puzzling a little bit, and you know, at the same time, I also stopped playing the franchise for a couple games now, and I can't really. I feel like at this point, it's hard to make judgment calls on this franchise because I'm so far disconnected at
Sure.
this point. Um, and ultimately, one of these days, I'm going to go back to the franchise. Um, but that's a commitment and a half at this point.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where, like, Ubisoft open worlds have kind of stigma
Right.
attached to them at this point. So I think I think it's hard to, I think for a lot of people it's hard to, like, justify playing something if you kind of already know what it's going to be.
Right.
Um so yeah, I don't really fault you for that. But yeah. Anyways, that's,
Right.
not a whole lot. Also, the Netflix show is apparently still
Yeah.
happening. So good for
Right.
them,
It's
I
like,
guess.
oh
But
yeah, apparently that's still. I literally
yeah.
saw it in the blog post. I was like, wait, that's I forgot that was a thing. Um, randomly, I just came across the original movie.
Oh, really? Michael
The other day.
Fassbender.
Yeah, and I'm like, I remember seeing that movie, enjoying it, but also hating it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it and hated it at the same time. Um, and that's probably a tangent for a different day. But
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's my feelings towards the series right now in a nutshell, wrapped into one movie. Um, but yeah. So I mean, that's our kind of our little cold open into the show. We kind of went rapid fire into that news story. But we also really we got some news to kind of really kind of dive into here.
Yeah.
And particularly we've had some big news with the big companies.
Yeah.
And what's I think let's dive right into it.
Yeah.
Microsoft making some big changes in these past 3 weeks
Yeah.
since we've been away. One of them being they have changed the Xbox CEO from Phil Spencer to, unfortunately, I'm being a bad podcast host and already forgetting her name. I apologize. Give me 1 second.
That's okay.
Um,
You've been saying the name Phil Spencer for over 10 years now. It's fine.
mhm,
Uh her name is Asha Sharma.
gotcha. Yep, that's right. And she was a part of. She's been a part of Microsoft, but she was a part of the AI division
Yeah.
of Microsoft, and has now been transferred over to um, Xbox. And of course, um, the floodgates got opened as far as uh, criticisms
Yeah.
of speculation. Like, look, you know, say what you will about AI. I really am one of those type of people that's really against generative AI and a large portion of just AI in general. It is weird to see someone, it is weird to see a lot of a judgment call just made on that alone. But at the same time, you have to look at the resume,
Yeah.
right? And
Oh yeah.
it's a puzzling decision by Microsoft, and it makes you wonder what's to come with it. So
Yeah.
before we get into the real big news that happened today specifically, Ezra, I'm curious, what is your kind of opening thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think yeah, I have complicated feelings. I like Phil Spencer a lot, actually, in the grand
Me
scheme
too.
of things. Um, I think he genuinely had some good ideas. I think a lot of those didn't play well. Unfortunately, I think he uh, I think he made some pretty key mistakes around the turn of the
Yeah.
console generation.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'll be sad to see him go because I think he's a very important figure in the games space.
Right.
Um, I think sort of not exactly in the bounds of this podcast, but I think Sarah Bond getting passed over and then her subsequent resignation uh, are very, like kind of corporate gossip juicy like that. Like I'd love to hear, what the tea was, so to speak. Um,
Right.
and then yeah, I mean, I think Asha Sharma is very much like I think it's one of those things where like AI, like Microsoft has, I mean, every major tech company has gone full force into AI. So it's kind of hard for me to like outright condemn her because she also like she was the head of like Instacart and
Mm,
some other places,
right.
so like it's it's not the she isn't you know just the AI person. Now maybe she is, maybe she you know mandates every artists get replaced by generative AI, and it's like, okay, well that sucks.
Mhm.
But
Right.
those are not the words that are coming out of her mouth, which I think is encouraging at
Yeah.
least. In inside of the first week or two. But then also, I do think it's one of those things where we just have to kind of wait and see. And it was very clear that like the old guard was not working. Um, and again, as much as I like and respect Phil Spencer, I don't think he was the right guy anymore. Um, I think the after the failure, after Tango GameWorks, and then the failure to manage
Yeah.
the Perfect Dark remake, and just so many more of these projects that have just uh, that have really turned out to be uh, real like really hurt the Xbox brand. Um,
Mhm.
I think it was very obviously time for something to change, and
Yeah.
so we'll see. We'll see. I'm sort of reserving judgment on whether or not this was a good call until 2 or 3 years from now, when we actually start to see the the
Actual facts. Yeah.
actual results. Because right now, we have sort of half of a news article to go off of, which we're about to get
Yeah.
to. So,
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, before we kind of dive into that, I think that, I think we all should give a benefit of the doubt in general with that type of with like this leadership change. And I think that, you know, w- it is like you said, it was time for change in leadership, even though it is bittersweet to see Phil Spencer leave. I think ultimately these past few years, the Xbox brand has kind of, not kind of, it has really lost its identity. And I think in a time where we're getting close to another generation, that there needs to be a focus on identity and what they're going to
yeah.
take and what they're going to bring themselves to the table,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, are they in it or are they not in it? That was the identity crisis that we were getting, not but a few months ago, and it wasn't up until today. If you had asked me 4 hours ago before I got home, before I got off work, the I would have said, yeah, I'm not confident Xbox is going to have a console for the next
Yeah.
generation. And then we got the announcement, I think it was 4 hours ago, um, that Xbox is now in development of a new generation
Yep.
of gaming that is console related and PC related um, to called Project Helix.
Yep.
And it's in the same fashion they announced the last console, where it was
Yeah.
under the designation of Project Scarlet
Mm-hmm.
and then end up being Series X and Series S. Now, before we dive into anything, I really have to put this out in the open because it just grinds my gears and I have to say it. Why is it that Microsoft can come up with the coolest project names, but they can't seem to bring that name to the console?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
like
what?
you can't tell me that Xbox Helix wouldn't go insanely hard.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Like, it is like the moment I saw that project title, I'm like, that better be what the console's called. I swear to God,
Yeah.
because why would you not call it anything different? I could
Yeah.
just see the logo. You know what I mean? Oh man, that'd be
Mm-hmm.
so cool.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, I
you make
can
it.
I can understand them not wanting to go with Xbox Scarlet because Red Ring of Death is a thing.
And
That did
that's true.
happen. That
That
is
did
a thing that
happen.
happened. So I understand them not necessarily wanting to like I think it would be kind of a marketing error to be like, hey, yeah, like, what's the odds of somebody searching red Xbox and then instead of Xbox Scarlet you get the Red Ring
Right.
of Death. Yeah, so I understand that, but I mean, Xbox One was a terrible, terrible. I still don't
Yeah.
understand what they were thinking with that.
Mm.
Well, I know what they were thinking. They were trying to position it as the like, this is the only thing you will ever need in your living room.
Right.
But that obviously just like completely fell on its face the second it got announced to the public. Um, so yeah, I hope this is decent because Xbox Series is like a little better
Mm.
because it at least sort of designates like, okay, this is a thing, it's part of Xbox, but then the
Right.
the naming conventions after that got very weird, like Series
Yep.
X, Series S. Like, yeah, it
Mm.
was just it was trying too hard to be an iPhone. um
Right.
so we know nothing
No.
about this console. uh Honestly, I doubt. uh I really do doubt that it's gonna be much more than an Xbox Series. Um,
Yeah.
or like a juicier Xbox Series. I think the interesting conversation will be whether or not it is able to run like Steam and stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, we really just don't. we
And
we
this
have
is
no idea.
well, this is where the credit, and I was talking about this earlier with my coworker when I first saw this news. Um, I said the first thing, you know, would be the test on as far as these criticisms go of the new CEO is how much of AI components are going to be built into the console.
Yeah,
Um, and I feel like even though like I said, I'm 100% not the biggest fan of AI in general. I really can't see them trying to push an AI innovation initiative with the next generation of console as even including as a selling point for the console.
yeah,
Um, and I guess that's just the real reality of it. But so it would be interesting to see where they go. But I want to say it feels good in the sense that today marks a very special day as far as the like just the gaming world in general. That it is the formal declaration of the next generation.
Yeah,
It always feels like you always remember when it happens, of
sure.
yeah, like that moment of like now in development, like we are on the cusp of this
Yeah,
next generation.
yeah.
And I know Sony is they're kind of trying to take a from what reports suggest that they're trying to take their time with this current generation, um
Hmm.
kind of studying it out like Nintendo did with the Switch, you know. I find it interesting that Microsoft's ready to move on. Like I think for
I
them it's a smart move.
Yeah, I
But
think it's interesting. I don't think it's at all surprising.
no.
Um, just because I mean I think that to me I think the thing about this generation is that like in terms of like the console generation,
Mhm.
because I've played some of my favorite video games to ever come out over the past six years. So I
Mhm.
want to make that clear before I say what I'm about to say. Like I love video games. I've played some amazing video games. So like just uh but I do get the like very distinct feeling that this generation sucks. Like
Yeah.
just from like the amount of games that have come out, the pricing just keeps going up and up. It feels like every like 2 or 3 years at this point.
Mhm.
Um like studios are closing, layoffs are almost always happening, live services are crashing and burning and just getting just totally hammered. And
Yeah.
again, like there really hasn't been the like output that we saw in like
Mhm.
even the PS4 generation.
Right.
um and
I felt like
go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say like we're going to look back on this generation and we're just going to be, we're going to talk about how like what happened. Right.
Yeah,
Like, what even happened during this time, So
yeah.
it's just like,
Well, and like again, that's not to like take away from like the
no,
individual like amazing games, right? Like Tears
right.
of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Claire Obscure, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth and remake,
Mm,
uh F did I say Tears of the Kingdom already? Like all
yeah.
this stuff like the level of like God of War, Ragnarok, like all of these games are incredible. And so like I don't want to like take away from those games, but I do want
Mhm.
to but I am like, you know, I am also very wary of like the fact that like I don't feel like the PS5 is a complete console yet, which
Yeah.
is a very
Yeah.
weird thing to think 6 years into the console, right? Because
Yeah.
I felt that the Switch was a complete console when like Mario Odyssey came out. Like I was like ready to
Mhm.
I was ready to like kind of dust off that and say like, all right, yep, everything else is gravy after like
Right.
3 or 4 games. but I think that was also on the promise of like there's still going to be more and more Nintendo exclusives. Um,
Right.
and I think that's very much true for like the Switch too, right? Um,
Hmm.
Now, I do think there is something to be said about like consoles are starting to resemble PCs in the sense
Hmm.
of like incremental upgrades rather than massive leaps. And so
Right.
like the what's becoming more important is like the digital library, the maybe the like quality of life stuff, maybe the um you know doing some stuff with the controller. There's all sorts of stuff that like you can kind of innovate on a little bit. um I don't know exactly how you sell that to the public in this
Hmm.
ecosystem, because if you've been paying any attention at all, the tech uh, components market is on fire at the moment. It's just total chaos. RAM costs like thousands of dollars when 2 years ago I could have bought a stick of RAM for $10. Like really, nothing too special. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I think it's I'm very very interested to see. I think Microsoft is very much the one to watch this time around.
Hmm.
Um, at least in terms of like the story of the console, because PlayStation is going to make a PS6, and
Right.
that'll be that. But Xbox is it's a new CEO, new
Hmm.
uh probably some new philosophies. Are they gonna stick with their this is an Xbox thing?
Right.
Are they going to downsize the gaming division? Are they going to
Right.
keep publishing their own games? Are they gonna be or are they gonna be making these sort of streamlined PC consoles that are like the Steam machines? There's a lot there are a lot of things that are happening. In 2 years, does the tech market look the way that it does now? Uh, because AI is just squeezing
Hmm.
everything. Um, or does it look better? Does it
Right.
are things affordable yet again? And so companies can make things at a relatively cheaper price. Like that, there's really a lot happening. And while PlayStation is subject to it, Xbox I think is way more like at the forefront of
Hmm.
those things, because this is kind of their last chance to sort of regain a foothold in the
Right.
in the race. Um, so
I think it's. I think bringing in a new CEO, um, and the best way to bring in a new CEO is a new console generation. Um,
yeah,
because that's going to define who she is and how Xbox as a brand is. Like it will. This is a huge make or break moment for the company. I think it
yeah.
is pivotal, absolutely pivotal. Um, and I think it's very interesting to see. Um, Ezra, did you have any more final thoughts on Xbox at this point?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
all the best to the people working at Xbox Studios, because I imagine this
Yeah,
is a very turbulent time to be working, at Bethesda
absolutely.
or, even some of the Activision
Yeah,
places.
even these acquired parties, I can't imagine what they're thinking. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um, but hey, maybe we get Elder Scrolls 6 expedited finally.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Maybe Asha Sharma is a huge Elder Scrolls fan, and it's like, all right,
Right.
come on, Todd.
It's time. I know Phil Spencer gave you a pass, but like, and gave you the 100% support of Starfield, but like, why don't we give fans what we really want?
Yeah.
Um. So,
That's funny.
anyways, speaking of parties within companies, going
I
on
think
over to what's up?
I was gonna say I think the segue here is speaking of giving the fans what they want,
Yikes!
or not, I guess. But yeah,
Right, exactly. Um, yeah, not so great. Not so bright on the Sony side either right now. PlayStation has acquired many companies over the years. Some
yep,
very recent, some over time. Um, and there's one company that is very recently acquired. Um, has now completely been shuttered. It's axed, and it's
yeah,
just really disappointing to see. Blue Point Games um, is no longer a thing,
yeah. Really
and
sad.
it's just unfortunate. Like I, you know, it's interesting that Sony. I know Sony had established a relationship with Blue Point prior to the merge,
Hmm.
and I find it interesting that Sony struggled to get anything out um, post merge. I find it interesting that they didn't really have much faith in this company,
Yeah,
and I feel like they didn't even try on their investment. Uh,
yeah. I really don't know. Well, so yeah. I mean, going back to leaks a little bit. They
mhm,
were Blue Point was reportedly, kind of, sort of working on the God of War live service, uh,
mhm.
and that got culled.
Yeah,
Um,
there's quite if the leaks are true on that, that is actually a very interesting story. But obviously, I mean, we don't even know if that's true. So,
yeah. Um, what we do know is that Jason Schreier of Bloomberg reported that uh,
mhm.
Blue Point was apparently actively pitching a Bloodborne remake,
Yeah,
and FromSoft wasn't interested,
yep,
and uh, and I think that is really I like I think it kind of paints FromSoft in a negative light of like, okay, why does FromSoft have to sign off on a Bloodborne remake? Why can't we get a Bloodborne remastered or some kind of, patch or something
right.
to bring
Yeah,
Bloodborne up to the current generation, right? Cuz every other FromSoft game is playable in an updated
yep.
state, except I think maybe Dark Souls 2 is the only other one. Um, so yeah, I think
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true.
So I just I don't know. I think it's every time any studio gets shuttered, I think it's unfortunate. Um, I think, and I do think it's sad that Blue
Hmm.
Point kind of got bought only to go under afterwards.
Right.
Um, because I think they were acquired after the Demon Souls remake. Um,
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Blue Point was essentially, by the time Sony took over, they were essentially almost a Sony exclusive studio. So it was not
yeah,
surprising when they took it over, but it because they worked on Demon Souls, but they also worked on God of War Ragnarok.
yeah,
Um, and it's which is why they were, made the supposed like you know leader of this live service game that obviously we knew was an actual game at some point. Um, the as far as the live service, I don't know if we knew that Blue Point was heading it. Um,
yeah.
but there's some. I don't know if you read any of the actual like the meteor stuff of that those leaks, but there's some interesting like um information, whether or not it is true or not, um that
Hmm.
I think it's curious. And I think personally I do believe what is leaked is true, just because it seems very realistic. But I've also seen some counterpoints that also goes against it. So that's why I'm kind of going 50-50 about it, even on here. It's just kind of like you kind of got to make that judgment for yourself. But the long and short of it is, regardless whether it's true or not, it's one thing is clear. Sony just, I think they just dropped the ball on what establishing an identity for
Yeah,
this this party, you know, and it's just a shame to see
yeah,
because it feels like they should have had at least one strategy going in, like at least a planning strategy going in, because it's only been a couple years,
yeah,
you know, and it's not been long since
yeah.
they've made this acquisition.
Well, and to just not, uh, yeah, to just like not release any product, I think is
Yeah,
yeah, very, very unfortunate. Especially because the Demon Souls remake and I think especially the Shadow of the Colossus remake are
yeah,
very like heralded. So I do think it is unfortunate. Um, yeah.
yeah. So I think uh, I think that kind of covers the Sony aspect, but
Hmm. Speaking of
in a
live
similar,
services,
yeah. Speaking of live services and speaking of Sony's history, uh, even though this isn't Sony that did it, it is very much like it feels exactly like what Sony did like a year ago. And um, you know, one of the big memes of every gaming showcase is that they're gonna announce Concord 2, even though we all know
Concord
that
too.
like Concord 2 is never gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
just never gonna be a thing. We will like history won't repeat itself, right? Surely it won't
surely.
repeat itself.
Yeah.
Um, and then you know. Jeff Keighley, just so happened to, get really excited about one live service game
Yeah.
that was going to be presented at the Game Awards, and he decided to make that the finale of the
Yeah.
show to
Yeah.
really create that buzz that he was really excited for.
Yeah.
And I have said on this last podcast. I wonder if it was the last podcast. Actually, hold on. Let me just double check. It was the last. Oh no, it was two podcasts ago.
Yeah. It was
Where
podcasts
I
ago.
went and defended Jeff Keighley,
Yeah.
and I'm still a defender. Don't get me wrong, but little did I know he was pitching Concord too.
Yeah.
Um, did I
That's
know that
the
history would repeat itself? No.
No, I don't think anybody did. Yeah, I mean, I think the crazy thing about this is like I wonder how much of this could have been avoided if Jeff Keighley hadn't played the game randomly on that fateful day. Like if
Yeah,
he hadn't been like invited to come into the studio to play the game, like yeah. I mean,
I think
yeah.
I think there's some truth to that because I feel like it could have generated buzz outside of that and would have been like, oh yeah, this is a halfway decent game. We should all check it out. That type of buzz. Um,
Yeah.
I think the biggest fatal flaw is had he put that in any part in the showcase, I think it would have been fine. But ending that as
Yeah.
the final tag of
Yeah.
the
And
the
he's
show,
like, this is the most exciting thing I have ever seen, guys.
yeah,
And it's
it,
like, okay,
it
buddy.
it's not a good look on him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I feel terrible. Um, in the sense that he really liked this game and nobody else did. um,
Yeah.
but
It does make
uh,
me wonder, like, what he saw in it.
no, I know. And what was it? 3v3 or
Yeah,
was
but
it
then they
2v2?
also added, like, 5v5.
Oh, okay. Um, okay. Well, that's a little better. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, that's a really hard like
Oh, yeah.
pitch in general. Like to do a 3v3 only, like as far as launch game mode, like
Yeah.
it not a lot of people, like as far as the general audience go, not a lot of consumers would be drawn to
Mm.
that type of gameplay even for a live service. um and I mean the concept looked intriguing, but
Vaguely.
vaguely, I mean, we were both watching it and we were kind of like, this is kind of like every other live
Yeah, this
service
is just
Overwatch, like,
Overwatch.
yeah.
Like,
So I mean, they're shutting it down as of
yeah.
next week.
Have we
I
said the
think they're shutting it
name
down.
High Guard?
I don't know if we
I think
have.
we might have only said Concord, and I want to make it clear that we're not talking about an actual Concord 2. It is a High
Yeah,
Guard.
High Guard. In this case, Concord too.
Yeah. Yeah, shutting down 45 days after launch.
That's so sad. I mean, it lived longer than Concord,
Yeah.
right?
And I mean, I sort of I think that's probably more a matter of like it's a free game, so they had more uh like they didn't have stuff to stop selling exactly.
Right.
Whereas like Concord they had to like pause sales, refund everybody who bought it, right? Like all this stuff. So yeah, man.
Yeah. It's sad to see.
Yeah.
You know,
I think I will just echo what I said when we were talking about it the last time,
Hmm.
where like I do feel for the individual developers,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I do just think it's really funny.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean,
Like
you know,
I it's just like such a comedy of errors
yeah.
where it's like every like it feels like you look at what what went down and it's just like they made the exact wrong choice, like the obvious wrong choice every
Hmm.
step of the way.
Right.
And it's just like what do you mean you didn't want to do like an external play test before launch? You were originally
Right.
gonna shadow drop it. Like what are you talking about? Like that like
Yeah. Like
that's a
originally, like you're not an existing franchise.
you're
Nobody's
not an
gonna know.
well
That's
and
gonna
you're
be like
not
if you shadow drop
EA.
it, right. Exactly. If you shadow drop it, you're just gonna be lost in the Steam library. Like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna
Like
nobody's gonna
there's
want to.
like the and the thinking of that is like, oh yeah, we're former Apex devs, like, and that worked for Apex. Like,
Yeah, but
yeah,
Apex was an existing franchise. It was Titanfall
yeah,
before.
it was part of Titanfall. It was backed by again EA. like
Yeah,
like if Apex had failed, EA could have eaten that, right? And they
yeah.
could have said like, okay, we can invest in support or maybe pull the plug. I don't really care. Like
And
the point is like this is not a project that was invincible. And so like they took all of these unnecessary risks because they were so sure of themselves. I mean, this is what has been documented. Like
right.
these developers, I assume some of them were at the most of them were at the high level. Were just so sure that they had a winner on their hands that they didn't even bother to do some of their due diligence, and you can see it right now, right? Concord or High Guard is dead. And yeah, literally Concord 2, and it's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
and you're absolutely right. I mean, this is crazy stuff. Like,
Yeah.
um, but in a little bit more of a positive light, um,
Can I
the
are
oh, go ahead.
are you moving on from High Guard?
I think I am moving on.
Okay, I just want to say one more thing.
Yeah,
Sean Layden continues to
yeah.
be very vindicated. I think that man got out while he was ahead, and I think he is a very wise figure, and Sony is worse off for him not being head of PlayStation. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
Um, the so yeah, as far as a little bit more of a kind of a positive light, um, the more adaptation light, uh,
yeah,
we have been in this golden age of video game adaptations. There
it's
was the
true.
Dark Ages, and I don't know, at some point we just hit a golden age. Like,
Yeah, I
I
think it
I'd have
might
to go back.
literally be Detective Pikachu was the
Right. It could
turning point.
exactly. It could have been. I think that was it. I'm. It's escaping me now. Anything prior to that, but I know there was a bunch of stuff coming out at that time too. Um, like the so we're in this height, right? And
Yeah.
now we have two big adaptations coming up
Hmm.
that you and I are both really excited for, and there's been a lot of kind of development in these past couple weeks, stuff that we've talked about, stuff we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Um, and I know for a fact one of the things that we haven't talked about is the God of War show.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, and speaking as like the God of War, like I'm pretty
Yeah.
pretty big into that franchise, and it's kind of weird that this is like I think the first open time I've talked about the show. Um, I think the casting decisions thus far have been really great casting decisions. I think them getting I believe his name is Ryan Hurst. Let me just
Yeah.
double fact check real quick. Who played Thor in God
Yeah.
of War
I did
Ragnarok
know that. Yeah.
is playing Kratos in the God of War show, and I think I think that's great casting. They've got some Mimir's reprising his role.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
did see that.
there's a lot of good things to talk about it. Um, and but this time we got our first official look
Yeah.
at Kratos and Atreus.
Hmm.
And Ezra, I'm curious to see what were your feelings as to this first look.
Uh so I'm not going to say it looks bad
Hmm.
because I think that would be a lie.
Yeah,
What I am going to say is that it looks exactly the same.
yeah,
And then at that point, it's not that it's bad, it's why does this exist? Right? Like
yeah,
the and I know like the reason, right? Cuz there are whole audiences out there that won't touch a controller. Um but like I don't know, it's just one of those things where like I'd have rather they did their own thing. And I know I say that
yeah,
about all these adaptations so much, but like, one of the things that I appreciate about like uh you know, the Mario movie uh or even something like Detective Pikachu, which I think was actually more a direct adaptation of the game that it was based on than people uh than general audiences understood. But what I appreciate about those is that they're kind of willing to go in their own direction while
yeah,
still like having the spirit of whatever property they're adapting.
yeah.
Um, and I think that's something that I find really frustrating about this, about the Last of Us TV
Yeah.
show. um is like, yeah, you're just kind of adapting these things that were already in this like photorealistic style,
Right.
so you're not even like changing the medium all that much. Like you're
No.
not like, this isn't an instance where you're making like a live action anime adaptation or something like that, where you're like literally bringing
Mhm.
fictional characters and or, these drawn characters and casting real humans as them, like Netflix Avatar or One Piece or something like that.
The mm, oh, go ahead.
But yeah, I just think it's it's one of those things where I'm like, I saw how good it looked, and I was like, why are we just doing the game? Why are we just doing God of War 2018? Like, why can't we do
Right.
anything else? Like, because if
Well,
if they did, God of War, the original God of War, you could at least say
right.
like, okay, it might be the best looking version of that game, and you might be right. So yeah,
Well, it's the bolder choice to do that, right?
yeah,
It's that one feels more like an actual, like, you have room to make it your own type of game, like type of show. And um, as far as I think the showrunners is a good, like, the people producing it, I think is a really good set of people.
hmm.
I'm worried it's on Amazon. Not gonna lie.
Oh, is it? I couldn't remember if it was HBO or Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, and I mean, Rings of Power is still going strong, but also I don't think it's gotten to the levels of what, in my opinion, and I haven't watched the show, but I think it hasn't gotten to the levels of what that franchise could be.
Sure.
And that's just my opinion, as far as popularity goes. And ultimately, besides that, Amazon's never really done anything like this before. Now they got the upcoming Spider Noir series that looks actually pretty decent. Um,
Oh yeah.
but aside from that, there's not really, like, Amazon hasn't really had anything too much in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Um, unless did they do Fallout?
Yeah. Fallout was also
Okay, they
Amazon.
did do Fallout. For
That's a
some odd
very
reason, I
well
was
liked
thinking
show.
Fallout. For some odd reason, I thought Fallout was on HBO. That would be one exception, and that's a video game adaptation
Yeah.
right there. Um, I will say my first initial look at the image that was released, I was like, "Oh my god, that's like 1 to 1. That's perfect." And you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, and then I was like, and then I got to the composition of it, and I'm like, mm, interesting choice to, like, I understand they're trying to show the father son dynamic, and really I feel like the focus of that image is not really on Kratos itself but on Atreus. Um
Yeah.
and like, just showing that, like, I feel like the producers were probably trying to show more of, like, how this young actor is going to be portraying Atreus in the role, rather than what Kratos what Kratos is really doing in the background. And I think that's a great first look image if you had another first look image of Kratos.
Sure.
Like, if that was like the second image released, I feel like that, one, that would have gone over a lot better, but also two, I think that specific image, the composition of it is a little messy. Um,
Okay.
uh, and but ultimately, the subject matter about this relationship between father and son, is, I mean, this they're really communicating that point across. Um,
Yeah.
that, I'm excited for. I think that's going to be a really good, um, focal point to really hone in on as far as the show adaptation goes. The more
Yeah.
character work behind that, I think, will really, really serve well. I'm worried. My one worry is when looking at all these casting decisions, that they are going to go skip. They're going to, like, go into 2018, but, like, they're going to do, like, the first two episodes, like, first three episodes or whatever is 2018, and then the remaining episode, the remaining
Yeah.
season is Ragnarok related, and then, that's split into two parts probably. And I'm just like, I'm just speculating out loud, but I am curious to, this cast of characters is like, you don't even see them until the second game. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why is Heimdall in it? Like, the first season, and I like the time gap between 2018
Yeah.
and Ragnarok. Like, I think it really helps Atreus's character,
Hmm.
in between that time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, as far as the first official look, it's very exciting for me as a fan. There's some puzzling aspects of it, but
Sure.
I'm still intrigued. I don't know,
Yeah.
anything else you wanted to kind of examine about it.
No, I mean we'll see. Amazon hit it pretty big with Fallout, so we'll see if they do it again.
Yep. Yep. All right. So this next one, I am going to actually let you kind of break this one,
Okay.
because I'm more intrigued to hear your immediate thoughts on this. So.
Yeah. So as you know, I am a huge fan of the Sonic movies. I think like I was saying earlier, I think they perfectly adapt the spirit of Sonic the Hedgehog and do their own thing while still adapting the game stories. I think Sonic 3 is just an incredible movie. And so I'm very excited for Sonic 4, which we have known is coming out since before Sonic 3 came out. I think they greenlit it before Sonic 3. Um,
Mhm.
and if you watch Sonic 3, the
Mhm.
end credits scene for that, you know that Amy is going to be the new character introduced. And so people have been speculating about, like, okay, who's going to play Amy in Sonic 4? Is it going to be, is it going to be your game actress? Probably not.
Mhm.
You know, people were like, is it going to be Taylor Swift? And I was like, oh, please no. I was on the Ariana Grande train
Gotcha.
for a
And
while. Um,
uh-huh.
I thought that would be fun,
That would
but
be fun.
I am also very happy to hear that Kristen Bell is the uh, voice actor for Amy in Sonic 4. If
Mhm.
if you don't know who Kristen Bell is, you do know her because she is the voice of Anna in Frozen, and then also she was played the main character on the well beloved show The Good Place. I know
Mhm.
I actually haven't seen it, and I know that one is like a huge like hole in my backlog.
Yeah, I've watched the first episode, maybe the first couple of episodes. It it was good. I just never got
Yeah.
around back to it, like you said. Um,
Um,
Interesting concept that show is.
yeah. No, yeah, very very interesting concept. So yeah, without having any uh prior context, or
Mhm.
like the only image we have of Amy is the one from the post credit scene. And
Yeah,
that's, if you look at what Shadow looked like in the post credits
yeah,
of Sonic 2 and then what he looked like in Sonic 3, it's night and day, right? Like
yeah.
it's not that he looked bad in Sonic 2, it's just that
No,
he looked
because
perfect in Sonic 3.
right, there was refinement. Because if you would have,
Yeah.
if that was the same like design and rendering in Sonic 3, all of us would still have that same feeling. But obviously, the design's clearly different. I feel like the same way would be with Amy as well.
Yeah.
Like, it. here's the interesting thing, as interesting that you talked about your speculations. I I think for the first time I was genuinely like I don't know who they would cast. Like I
Sure.
was like you know um you know
Well, Amy
and
has had such a, she's kind of run the gambit of voices,
yeah,
like, you know, in the English dub at least, because I think the Sonic
right,
cast has been very consistent throughout the
right,
Japanese dub, but in the
yeah,
English dub, she's been, she's been up here, and then she's been all the way up here, and then she's like
yep,
down here.
yeah,
So it's kind of, and then in Frontier, she's like down here. Like it's very inconsistent with Amy.
exactly.
Um,
And that's why I guess in my eyes I'm like that really makes it tough. Like I
yeah.
can't and you know this casting team, I should never doubt this casting team
Oh
because
yeah, no.
this casting team has knocked it out of the park
Yeah. Oh
for
yeah,
all
no.
three
They're
movies.
3 for 3, or four
The
for
only
four.
the only missed opportunity that they have done is I feel like they could have made Kristen Ritter not as a, like
Yeah.
a side, side
Yeah.
one-off character that we'll probably never see in the rest of the franchise type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah.
that was a waste of opportunity. But besides that,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they've knocked it out. I mean, Keanu Reeves as Shadow, Idris
Oh.
Elba as Knuckles, like,
Oh. Yeah. Like the. I mean, frankly, um. Oh crap. Like, how am I forgetting his name?
Jim Carrey.
Well, Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman is
Hmm.
also is absolutely part of that conversation. Like I think that's uh absolutely no.
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz, thank you. I knew it was Ben.
You're
I couldn't
welcome.
figure
I
out
was
his
just gonna
last
go through the
name.
cast.
I was very embarrassed about it.
Oh,
Um,
you're fine.
uh, yeah, I like every single casting decision, like,
Yeah.
and getting Colleen O'Shaughnessy back for Tails,
Right.
uh,
Exactly.
like, who else is gonna play that character is very
Right.
like real for me. Yeah, I do think there was, like, before Sonic 3 came out, I was very much like, I kind of wanted them uh to go all the way back and get David Humphrey back as Shadow, who's the
Mhm.
original, like the original
Yeah.
Shadow voice actor, just for the story of that
Yeah.
would have been really cool, I guess. But yeah, uh, but yeah, Keanu is, pitch perfect as always. I also wanted to mention, just because this was a couple days ago now, but apparently Ben Kingsley has also been tapped
Oh
for Sonic
yeah, I
4.
forgot about that. Yeah.
And I'm like, my goat, like
Right.
why, like,
Who could he even be?
yeah, like um the leading theory is that he's, playing, maybe a new a new Eggman.
Hmm. But the thing is,
uh
isn't Jim Carrey already confirmed to be back?
I don't know if he is. I don't know if that's
Okay.
true. What I think there's another possibility that he could be playing the gun commander from Shadow the Hedgehog, Abraham Tower, uh,
Okay.
or he could be playing the president. He could be playing the president. Um,
Yeah.
that's also a possibility. But so yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of, we know that Sonic 4 is gonna be Sonic CD and maybe a little bit of Sonic Heroes. Like, that's where it's gonna go, because those are the two Metal Sonic games, and those
Right.
are, and Amy is fundamentally tied to Metal Sonic. So that's, and
Yeah.
Metal Sonic was in the post credit sequence. So like that's the,
Right.
otherwise it's kind of hard to speculate. We also know that there is another Sonic movie coming out in
Hmm.
2028 that is
Shadow.
yeah,
Sorry. Who
very
said that?
very
Who
likely
said that?
very very likely Shadow the Hedgehog.
Uh, let's go back real quick, just for the fun of it. Um, let's see. Hold on, let me get it pulled up. I should have had this pulled up, but I wasn't thinking about it until now. Um, let's pull up the PowerPoint I made just a year ago and see how things have if you know, I'm 95% sure I called a 2028 release for Shadow, if that's the case.
That's very
Oh, of course
possible.
it's not going to load. Um Pretty sure I called it for 2028. Oh, okay, hold on.
Let's see here.
uh I do not have it, I don't think.
I think I can get it.
That's disappointing.
Uh, let's see.
I'm sure it's somewhere deep in my Mac, but I'm not gonna go like looking for the files too hard. So okay, no big
Ah,
deal.
darn, where is it?
Oh, you know what? I know what it is. It's not on Power. It's not on Microsoft PowerPoint. That's why
Oh, you use the
I use Google. I did a Google Slides, which was I think my first and only time I did use Google Slides. Um, there you go. Hold on. Bear with me, everybody. Correction. I did one other um, PowerPoint on Google Slides, and it was on the Kurosawa films back in college.
Is that right?
And I think it was, yeah, it was a joint project, which is why I.
Mm.
All right, let's see. Oh no, I'm
Were
wrong.
you a 2029
I
guy
was a
on Shadow the
2020.
Hedgehog?
I was a 2029 because I thought realistically they weren't that far in development yet on a
Yeah.
Shadow, and I said that there could be another. They could try to do the possibility of having another Paramount Plus
Oh yeah.
show with Tails in 2028 was my guess,
That's right.
and then Shadow in 29. That's what it was. I remember now. I had this all like fully mapped out, like, and Shadow would be a part one. I still believe
Oh
Shadow
yeah,
should
yeah,
be
yeah.
split into two parts, but
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
I should also mention that the Sonic and DC crossover is happening. It is getting a part two. Eggman and Lex Luthor are getting their team up. Uh, Big the Cat is Aquaman, which is just
That
peak.
seems, yeah, I was like, that seems about on about right there. Um,
Uh, Blaze is Starfire because all purple. But then also Rouge the Bat as Catwoman is just like so on the nose to
Yeah.
me. Like that's just so like okay guys. um, so
Right.
yeah, I've already glazed the heck out of the first Sonic DC crossover. So
Mhm.
very excited to read this when it eventually comes out, and obviously more and more toys will happen, and maybe a cool movie, an animated movie will come of this. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and it's called Metal Legion. So there you go.
If that's not a clue into what they're trying to work there
Yeah.
into, Legion of Doom,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Metal Sonic, probably.
Metal Sonic is probably. I mean, he
Hmm.
got like destroyed by Batman in the first
Okay, so maybe
uh,
not. I didn't know that
series.
part.
Well, Metal Sonic comes back all the time. Like Eggman just rebuilds
Right.
him constantly, so he could be doing his thing. I don't know. We'll see. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
So,
anyways, fun time to be a
yeah,
Sonic fan.
it is a fun time. And you know what's also, speaking of dormant franchises that just somehow just out of the blue on a random day, I I had to when this news first broke out, I was I had gotten on my lunch break. It was a Friday afternoon, and I'm not expecting anything too crazy, right? The
Yeah,
first thing I open up on Twitter is the image of near automata to be continued,
which is all we got.
which is all we got. And I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah,
what does that mean, Jeff? Like, it was from Jeff Keighley too, of all people. And I'm like,
yeah,
and knowing Yoko Taro, that that could be meaning a million different things.
yeah. It could mean
Um,
so much.
but I've never seen anything like that before. As far as the to be continued, and then I saw, you know, I saw the original video where that was from. A celebration of all this time, and but still, it makes you wonder, Ezra. And I gotta know what are you feeling about it? Is this time?
Uh, I don't know. Yoko Taro is such a mystery to me.
Hmm.
I hope it's not a direct sequel to Automata. Even I guess like Automata is a direct sequel to the first Near, kinda.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of, but that's what
like
you're looking for.
yeah, like I want I want what I want is either you know millions of years after Automata, or
Yeah,
I want or I want between the original and Automata. Um,
right.
because I don't think it'd be like I think as much as I love 2B 9S A2 all of those characters, I just think
Mm,
you know their one off like that story is so tight. uh
I agree with you on
I
that.
think I think it would just kind of I just don't think it makes a lot of sense to do
Yeah.
a direct sequel. I think you could do like a fun like a secret boss, to
Yeah.
be as
Mm,
Sephiroth and whatever game this
mm,
is.
mm.
I hope Platinum is working on it. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly where Platinum is at nowadays. After I don't know if Ninja Gaiden 4 uh, helped or hurt. I really haven't heard much about that game. uh, since it came out. Um, so yeah, yeah, it's hard to speculate because we just don't know anything. Um, I would have thought a Nier Automata sequel would have come out 5 years ago. So
Yeah,
at this point, it's kind of like, all right, like, where you at? What you been doing? Um, so
yeah. I mean, it's kind of time, right? I mean, this is going into the whole, I think we're about to get into a big Square Enix like resurgence. Um,
maybe, yeah,
you know, we're in that. I mean, if you look at what face value, what Square Enix has been telling us for a little over 2 to 3 years now about their development timeline of everything, on how they want to
yeah,
restructure their franchises. At the same time, like literally, this video proves it. Nier Automata was so successful
yeah,
that it's hard not to, like, why would you not do a sequel to it, like an actual sequel, not necessarily like as far as like story wise, but like continuing this franchise. Like,
yeah,
why would you not do that? You know what I mean? Like an actual game.
yeah,
And I think that, enough time has been left to cook in the oven.
mm,
um it's such a, we talk about how Rebirth part 3, sorry, remake, Final Fantasy 7 remake part 3 is right around the corner.
mm,
We know Kingdom Hearts 4 is presumably within the next year, but Nier could be that wild card, the true wild card of when it
yeah,
drops. It will be like, it could be before, during, or after all this stuff. But
yeah,
one thing I feel that is pretty clear is, especially with what this announcement's telling me, I think especially we're going to be knowing what Yoko Taro's been developing and what the near franchise is going to look like. I think we're going to finally get that answer within the next year. Not
yeah.
necessarily a
I
release,
really hope
but
so.
what it's going to look like. I think this is a very, very good sign.
Yeah, yeah. I really hope so because it's been a while. Uh,
Yeah.
like, and as much as I, appreciate that he's, getting to work on like an Ava show and
Yeah.
a bunch of other like anime projects and stuff, like
Yeah.
Draconeer is his like like that's that's the good stuff. So yeah, I hope that whatever it is, I hope it's really good. I hope it's
And it's
yeah.
almost been a decade,
Yeah, no, Near
you
Automata's
know?
10-year anniversary is next year. So
And
yeah.
you can't tell me that we get to the 10th anniversary and there's not some announcement towards what other game could be coming from this
Yeah.
franchise. Like
That
it,
isn't, Tifa having a 2B outfit in
right,
remake
exactly.
part 3 doesn't count.
What is Nier collaborating right now with? Because they're
Uh
collaborating at something.
yeah, any number of things. Like at any given
Yeah, they
time.
announced. I'm trying to think. It was Overwatch.
Is near an Overwatch? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that sounds about right. Yeah. Um no, yeah, Tubi is in like Grand Blue Versus. She's in that Naraka Blade Point. She's in uh there's obviously a near crossover in FF14.
yeah.
There's Fall Guys outfit. Um, yeah. Tubi is one of like the most farmed out characters. She's in like a Punishing Gray Raven, which is like a mobile game, one of those like action mobile games. Yeah, no, she's been in a lot of video games, uh, and only one of them is called Near Automata.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I hope it's yeah. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
That's all we can at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, to kind of wrap up this segment, like this news segment, like there's moments where we feel like, oh, it's the dark ages. Then there's
Yeah.
moments where we're like, oh my gosh, we are so back.
We're so back.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that is these past 3 weeks in a nutshell.
Hmm.
And I think in a time where we're now in March, you know,
Yeah.
it's going to be a period of this next month and a half is probably going to be a period of quietness, but then we're going to start getting the summer hype
Yeah.
coming. Like this could be, it's fun to think about that this could be a massive year. Like for me, that PlayStation showcase last month was huge for
Yeah.
me personally. Like that was like, it felt like I had, like, I for the first time I feel like in like probably almost 2 years, I'm like, oh man, I actually have a pipeline of things releasing again. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna have to get pre-orders for this and this. Like I haven't had to do that since 2022. You know what I mean? Like, there's just like there's stuff on the horizon, like
Yeah.
that's really exciting for me. And I guess that was kind of my final thoughts on the news aspect. But um, w- real quick,
Hmm.
Ezra,
Mm.
as we're getting into this review segment, I know you
Yes.
said you have some you want to try something, and I think this is a good way to,
Yeah.
segue. Um, you have another mystery game for us, don't you?
I have a mystery game for the end of the
Yep.
show, and I think it's actually I'm gonna say I think you will find that it's a little thematic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm gonna give you a hint. I'm gonna give you and so I'll give you one guess now,
Mm-hmm.
and then as we get there, I'll give you more guesses, and the hints that I give you will escalate in how helpful they are.
Yeah.
So the first hint I will give you is that it is a Nintendo game.
Nintendo. Okay. 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 Um, and it's a mystery game. Arms.
No.
Oh,
That's a
I'm like,
that
I'm
I
trying to
I
think of.
I kind of like the I kind of like the guess. I kind of like the
Yeah,
guess.
I was just thinking of Nintendo IP that, maybe like maybe it's such a curveball. You know what I mean? That
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was my level of thinking. I
No,
knew
that's
that was
fair.
a
That's
long
fair.
shot, but I at least wanted my first guess to be more of something that was more long shot as I got more
No, I
details. So.
understand that. I understand that feeling. So,
But
try again. You know what? I'll give you your second hit now,
okay,
so you can stew on it.
okay, okay.
I have trying to find the right way to word this.
Hmm.
I'll explain this hint when I actually talk about the game.
Yeah.
I consider myself to have beaten this game before, even though I never
Okay.
technically rolled credits on it.
Okay. That's actually pretty helpful.
So I'll let you stew on that. I think I
Hmm.
don't know if I've told you this story before, so we'll see. We'll see if you get
Yeah.
it. So yeah. Anyways,
I'll stew on that for a bit. I'll be thinking about it. Um, so going into our little review section here, Ezra, I know you have a few demo
yeah,
games that you played that you'd like to highlight a little bit.
yeah,
So I figured we could kind of start with that and then kind of go a little bit into our bigger games that we got in this review section.
yeah. So Steam Next Fest is Steam's kind of quarterly like indie extravaganza where a bunch of indie games post a demo, maybe a new trailer, maybe they get their release date, yada yada. And I always try to play a couple games just to try them out, see if there's anything interesting. I ended up
Hmm.
playing 3 demos this year. Um, the first one I didn't want to talk about is I guess I'll kind of go in ascending order of uh, I'll go from like least sure about to most sure about.
Hmm.
Um, so the first one was this game called Might Rhea. Uh, it is a anime inspired, very like My Hero Academia visually.
Hmm.
Like if you want to kind of take that like anime, but also like kind of comic booky style, uh, and it's this sort of superhero character action game. Um, the best way I could describe it is like if you took the gamers joint actually did a video about it, and he was saying
Hmm.
that like it's sort of the like Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi style of combat where you're kind of like doing air combos and launching guys into the air and chasing after them and punching them and all that stuff. Um, I thought it was a lot of fun. The demo was only about half an hour. The but it was very much like I played it and I was like, yeah, this is a demo. This is very uh like extremely rudimentary.
Yeah.
Uh but what was there was fun, and I think as somebody who is like, constantly begging for these, Devil May Cry style action games, I mean, I think we could always use more of those. Um so, I hope it turns out to be good.
Yeah.
I uh I'm I'm not sure. I think it really just doesn't have a yeah, it doesn't have a release date or anything like that. So, um, but yeah, yeah, it was fun. Moving
Yeah.
on, to uh, this one uh, I downloaded this because I saw it on Skill Up's weekly game news show. He sort of like
Mhm.
shouted it out, and I was like, this is interesting. It's called Cicada Mata. Um, and it's this like really visually interesting. If you they made this comparison in the video that I watched, that the skill up video I watched, that was like, the like sort of marathon aesthetic of that, like really
Yeah.
uh like sort of like if graphic design was a was an aesthetic. uh
Yeah.
it's sort of
Neon
taking,
like.
yeah, neon, but also like these very like bold colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's sort of that, but it's also so it's this FPS, which is already like, that's out of my wheelhouse. um it's this FPS, and I'm not exactly sure what the premise is exactly. It was a very like
Mhm.
weird, uh very very weird opening sequence, but there's like this, there's like your weapon is sentient, and you play as this character who's maybe lost their memory. um but it's very very visually striking, very like fast paced. It's this like action FPS in the vein of like
Mhm.
Neon White, or it's the cyber, not cyberpunk. um Need to, what's it called? Oh man, there's so many games with the name Blade in them. Is it like, oh, it's no, it's not that. Cyber Ninja parkour game. Here we go. Ghost Runner. That's what it's called. Um,
Mhm.
if you ever saw Ghost Runner,
I
it's very
think I
much
remember that.
in that vein. So yeah, Cicada Mata, really cool. The demo, I believe, is unplayable as of right now because they wanted to hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It was a pretty short demo. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely on my list. I think I'm gonna pick it up when it comes out, and yeah, and then for the real star of the show, for me. So if you have, I'm not sure I've talked about it all that much on this podcast, but Vampire Survivors is
Mhm.
uh, a big fan. I think that game I think that game is like surprisingly deep. I think it is weird in all of the right ways. I think it has just this dearth of just sheer amount of content that you get for $5 is just staggering. I think the gameplay is just incredibly addictive. Like the just the ways that Ponkel just like nailed every aspect of Vampire Survivors is, hard to um hard to overstate. So
Yeah.
when they announced Vampire Crawlers back at, I believe it was one of the Xbox showcases.
That probably sounds right.
Um, the I was like, all right, yeah. And the official title is Vampire Crawlers: The Turbo Wild Card from Vampire Survivors. Uh,
A
so
little bit of
cool.
a mouthful.
Um, so to give you some perspective, I have 22 minutes in the Cicada Mono demo. Uh, 29 minutes in the Might Rhea demo.
Hmm.
I have 7.5 hours in the
Wow.
Vampire Crawlers demo.
Yeah.
um, so that should tell you, like, okay, this is really cool. Like, I've gone just to like do a run in this game just for the fun of it. Um,
Yeah.
it is, now it is a roguelike deck builder,
Hmm.
so take that for what you will. Um, but it's also like it's taking the like fundamentals of like what made Vampire Survivors so addictive and putting
Yeah.
it into that format. And it's just, it's crack cocaine, man. It's just so good. um yeah, I mean, I think that's the, if I had any one game that I'm like, yeah, you got to play this, it's
Yeah.
Vampire Crawlers.
Hmm.
And I think the demo is on Xbox.
Okay.
So if I don't think it's on PlayStation, unfortunately, but um,
I could always try to take a look too. um, let's see real quick. Um, he's-
oh, and they're aiming for early to mid 2026, so hopefully it comes out soonish. Um, the system requirements include 1 megabyte of RAM, 1 megabyte of available space, uh, and then the sound card requirements are TBC, but it should play music for minimum, and then for recommended it's TBC, but it should definitely play music. um, so gotta love the devs.
and I did check. It's not on PlayStation yet.
It's not on PlayStation. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, that is just so good. And it will be on like PlayStation, Switch. It'll be on your phone. Um, so I think it's just like, I think it's probably gonna launch on Game Pass. So I think that's kind of why the demo was on Xbox. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
That could be it.
that's Steam Next Fest. Over on RP Gamer, there's a whole uh, feature about Steam Next Fest a two-parter. Um, so I wrote for part two of that for Vampire Crawlers, but there's a whole lot of other games to
Hmm.
check out, and yeah, I you know I very much malign the the current AAA space, so checking out some like really cool indie games is always a fun time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Um. Yeah. I mean, demos are always kind of they're fun. I should probably play more demos than anything. Um, I seem to only play a demo
For a game you're already gonna
largely
buy.
if I'm like not necessarily for a game that I'm already going to buy, but like really on the fence about getting on day one specifically. Um, uh, like I mean, I'm trying to think of the last demo I played. I know it's been a couple years since I've actually played a demo, and but they are really good, and I'm glad that like as far as like demos have never been taken out of the spotlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's always going to be around, and I think that's always a good thing. So,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Steam Next
so
Fest always a cool event.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It sounds pretty cool, actually. The so what I've been working on
Yeah.
is, as you all know, is the Final Fantasy series, and
Wait, hold on.
I have. Oh, go ahead.
Time for your next guess.
Oh, time for the next guess. Okay. Um, I am going to say I'm going to say Donkey Kong Bonanza.
No,
I don't know if you actually end up finishing that game. That's why I
I
was
did beat that game.
okay. You did beat that game. Okay.
My final
Huh.
hint. You are going to very, very, very soon. You are going to talk about two games that are in the same era as my mystery game.
Okay. Okay.
Like around the same time period.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna think on that for a minute.
Yeah. Put that
I
on the
think I
back
have an
burner.
idea. I think I have an idea, but I could be wrong. um. But yeah. So I've been working on Final Fantasy right now,
hmm
and I obviously I was on a big one, and
Yeah.
this is one of the ones that some consider to be their goats.
Yep.
Okay, so I knew going into this game. Luckily, with the first five, I really didn't know what the public perception of was of each game specifically. Um, but I knew what six's status was, and yeah, I finished six about a week ago,
Okay.
and
Notice how he has avoided giving his actual opinions on the game so far.
yes, yes, there's a very specific reason as I'm going to go in to that, but um, six to put in perspective, I probably played six close to 50 to 60 hours.
Wow.
So something to think about. Um,
Yeah, that's wow. Okay.
uh, I know it was greater than 50, but I don't think I hit the 60 mark. If that makes any sense. But the first thing, you know, the all the first five Final Fantasies are very like bright and colorful, and you're going on this adventure, and yeah, there's like stakes. I think the only other exception is two has like a very like drastic opening type of thing, but
Oh yeah.
um the first thing you see in Final Fantasy VI when you turn on the game, you get a completely black screen, and the music swells, and then it's in red lettering Final Fantasy VI, and you can immediately get that feeling of, oh, this game is going to be different, right?
Mm-hmm.
um and I and then once you like start the game, you get the opening, and I remember to myself, I'm like, oh, this is that like Final Fantasy openings that I really know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
and it introduces you to this world. It tells you, maybe it's not like it's like indirectly showing you the main character. You know, it's like it was a really strong start, and like you can already tell like the like it's more three-dimensional, even though it's still 2D, and like
Yeah.
you could feel the leap that you were making. And I know I showed you the opening, Ezra, a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. Was that your first time ever seeing the Final Fantasy VI
I
opening?
I had seen the I'd seen the shot of the mechs walking. Um, I don't think I had seen the thing. I don't think I'd seen it in full yet.
Hmm. Okay, I get you. Okay. Um, and this is the first like Final Fantasy game that introduces Magitech, like
Oh
the
yeah.
mechs that you were seeing. So like, obviously Magitech becomes like a big Final Fantasy like trope that happens throughout all the games,
Yeah.
pretty much going forward in some form of capacity. Um, I shouldn't say in all of the games, but in most of the games. But and the thing that I want to talk about, oh, like one of the big things I want to talk about with this game is it's an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
It's not really like one person is like the main character. Um, and Final Fantasy 3 tries that, but it just drops the ball completely. Um, 6 takes the approach of what 4 does, and really like individualizes each character to be their own kind of special like skill set. Skill set's a good word for it. You know, whereas like the job mechanic that was in 3 and 5, like I still do not get why that was ever a thing. Um and like 6 really establishes that, and I think that as far as like an ensemble cast and skill sets and making it more formed to the character itself, I think that's what really starts the strong point of what Final Fantasy 7 is, etc. After that, like, it's a like for me, as far as the cast goes, it's a really great cast of like characters. Um and for me, if I had to consider someone as a lead, it would be Terra.
Yeah.
Um and I think Terra was easily my favorite character in the game, next to Ceres. Um or Cerise. I'm gonna say Cerise for now, but like those two had like really fantastic arcs in the game, and uh like ultimately this I think prior to this, four had like six characters, like main characters, and five kind of did the same thing. Five had five main characters, like as far as its
Yeah.
cast goes. Six had at least six to seven. This one has probably 10 main characters, while also I think going up to 14 party members. So that just tells you how bigger
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
they went with as far as trying to establish, more character interactions and story arcs. And kind of going into my general overview of the game, um, it really does set the foundation of what future Final Fantasy games go off of. Like I do think
Yeah.
that this, like I'm not gonna like make light of that. I think that the Final Fantasy six walked so the other games could run. In my eyes, like it is a really good blueprint of what the series is and should be. Um, I do like I spent a lot of time on this game, and I do think that is it my favorite Final Fantasy game? I'll just put it in this way: it's not, but it's still really good. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
I think it is in that peak category. It's not necessarily a perfect game, but it's really good. Um, I think one of the big things that I'm still juggling with about the game and how I feel about it just a little bit is that Final Fantasy VI kind of falls into one trap 5 has, where like the first half of the game is like really strong and like is paced very quick and fast, and then the second half of the story kind of halts. And I think that's a really fair criticism to put into in six as well.
Mhm.
Um, but unlike Final Fantasy V, where it gets boring necessarily, the rich world of Final Fantasy VI kind of really shines because it you're kind of in this new world landscape when you get to the second half of the game. It's very clear when you reach the halfway point of that game. Um, when you were over Ezra, I was literally at that halfway point as
Yeah.
far as story wise goes. Um, literally, they do they have this point in which you lose all your party members and you're back to the solo act. And that is the second half of the story. And it's really like, it's a cool concept of like rebuilding. And like, it kind of feels
Yeah.
like you're back to square one, but in a incentivizing way. And they I think that's where it starts to really shine because honestly, the choice to assemble all your characters again, one by one, helps really kind of give that individual story arcs
Mhm.
to kind of really wrap up and have their own moments of resolve that like under other the previous five kind of, I shouldn't say they didn't necessarily do, but like I think specifically with five, a lot of story arcs were just kind of like abandoned toward the end. Um, whereas six gives that moment to kind of, you feel for the characters, and get attachments for them, and then you find new party members too on top of that. So, um, the one thing, and this is why the story kind of halts in the second half, is the main villain, Kefka, who is this menace in the first half of the game.
Yeah.
He is just wreaking havoc. Dude is like the Joker, okay? Quite literally, as far as his design goes. But he is a maniac, okay? Let's just put it that way. And then you get to the halfway point, and you don't see Kefka until the literal end of the game. There's no in between. He doesn't pop up anywhere else, not even for like a like side scene or whatever. None of that. So it feels like while you're still gaining your party members, it doesn't feel like you're advancing the story. Does that make sense? And you can
Yeah.
actually stumble into the final level. Like I did it one time and I was like, "Oh, closing game, closing game." I only had like 4 party members at that point. And I really do think it
Oh.
is achievable to like beat the game without assembling all your party members, but like you should absolutely assemble all of your party members.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there was a point in this game where exploration started to be affected by not grinding and farming your level, right? So I say I played about 50 to 60 hours, but there was like a good, probably a 10-hour portion where I was just focusing on leveling up my summons so I can level up my magic, leveling up myself. Like there was just like a lot of just kind of leveling up to a point where I feel like I almost kind of broke the game.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
was I was that far advanced. Usually when I'm going into a like final level, I'm like around level 40. When I got done with this game, I was way past level 60, like between 65 63 to 67. Like that's the range of my characters were going into the end. So if that goes to show you kind of the level of farming I did for experience, um, and they do a good job about making that process pretty easy, but that's just kind of going to show you my game length. I will say the final battle, well, actually, the final s- level itself,
Hmm.
I almost say was probably the most lackluster of the game. Like I feel like I just like Final Fantasy VI fans just like cried over that sentence, but I do think that way of like it feels like and a lot of the original Final Fantasy games do this, where you kind of go back to the environments um, that you were previously, but really at throughout the entire time, it didn't feel like anything new was brought to the table. Like Final Fantasy VI has so many like new areas to explore and all that type of stuff, and then you get to the final level, and you're probably expecting some grand final castle type thing,
Hmm.
that especially the other like the original Final Fantasy games do. It doesn't really have that. Um, and then one other thing that I would say is Final Fantasy VI. There's no way you could play that game without a strategy guide.
Oh, okay.
There's just no way. Like, there's no way you can assemble your party knowing what you need to do when you get to that second half of the game. Like that, there's like you need some guidance as to what you need to do, what you need to do first, all that type of stuff. And long or short of it is that's the second half of the game is weak, but it's not as weak for how good of a story it is and for how good of an experience it is. Like the gameplay is really fun. Like throughout the entire game, it feels so solid. It feels so refined. Um, that any kind of lackluster part of Final Fantasy, like the second half of the Final Fantasy 6, it's enough to it's enough to overcome that criticism. And I will say the final boss, final Kefka,
Yeah.
absolute cinema.
Okay.
So good. I'm like there like that fight was you know, it just blew all the other fights out of the water. For me that fight was like, okay, we're finally getting rid of all the gimmicky final bosses. Like the other final 5 games that are just all gimmicky as far as their final boss goes. And for me it was like, no, this is just a battle between, my magic, and like not my magic, like my level versus that level of a boss. Like it felt like um that type of thing where the story was the forefront of what a final of what the final boss was. And it was it was a beautiful ending as far as the design of it. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'd rate this 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
Um, the question would be whether or not I think, as far as of these original 6 that I've played, the question would be, because I really loved FF4, is this better than FF4? And even
Yeah.
a week has gone by, and I still don't know the answer. I
Wow.
really don't. Because FF4 is such a good story itself of and the pacing of that game and its level designs are so good, just in the same caliber as FF6 is. But the pacing's just so perfect. There's not any padding to it. It's very straightforward. Um, whereas 6 is so expansive and so like revolutionary to the series itself that it's kind of hard. It really is hard to put into which one is better. And I think that's why the discourse around those 2 games is so difficult, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
from what my review, was any of that kind of surprising, or
Um
any thoughts on it?
no, I'm just glad you liked it. I was a little worried
Yeah,
I think I'm very much in this place where like I kind of recognize that for a lot of people retro games are kind of a hard sell. Um
yeah,
so like I was kind of like, I wasn't like, oh, Caleb's just not gonna get it. Like that wasn't where I
hmm,
was. But I was a little bit like uh a little hesitant to be like, oh, maybe he won't be able to like, or maybe like just because like your gaming experience started a
hmm,
little later, you won't be able to like fully get into them the same way.
yeah,
So I'm more really happy to hear that, like, oh yeah, like FF4 and FF6 did manage to like come through and uh you were able to see them for, the way that a lot of people see them.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think my question for you would be like, forget which one you like better.
Hmm.
Which one would you say people should start with?
Um, that is an interesting question because it is something that I've been thinking about too. Um, I think it's tough because I will say the reason why I think, like you said, like how if I just picked up Final Fantasy VI, just speaking for myself, if I had just picked up Final Fantasy VI and didn't play the previous five, I feel like I would have judged that game a little bit differently. Probably in a more like, it's not necessarily my cup of tea type of thing. I like more modernized style. I think that could have been a factor, but honestly, with the first six, you're gonna run into that anyway. You do it. Um, but I will say, starting from the beginning with one, it helped really feel that evolution. But I don't think that's necessarily you need to start at that point, or
Sure.
like, I do think seven is like still peak Final Fantasy. Like that one is my favorite, and it will still be my favorite. It's looking like for right now. Um, but going without going into my next game real quick, the I would recommend if you are looking for more of the retro games to start, I'd probably say four. Ultimately, because the pacing is better, meaning it's quicker, and you get a really good feel of the entirety of what a good Final Fantasy gameplay mechanics is. Um, and then I think that makes it an easier bridge to six to really fully appreciate six. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get you. Um, is so you were saying that Terra is your probably your favorite character in this game.
Hmm.
Is who's your favorite character of these first six Final Fantasies? Or are you gonna have to think about that?
Well, trying to think real quick. Because here's the thing, a lot of the main protagonists don't have an official name until like four. um, the the people that I would say, it might be Tara. I think
Okay.
Tara's a good um good choice. Bart's comes to mind for FF5. I think he's a good character. Trying to think of. Um, yeah, I think that's it
Okay.
for now. I do like. The problem is with the FF4 main characters, I can only think of their like job titles and not necessarily their
Oh,
names at
sure.
the moment. And so I'm kind of struggling for a second.
No, that's understandable.
Yeah. Um yeah, I can't even like oh, hold on. Oh, that's right. Cecile, that's who I'm thinking of. Cecile and Kane are really cool characters too. Um from FF4. So ultimately, I guess I know that's not necessarily a definitive answer, but those would be my favorite characters right there. Um, but yeah. So one last thing before we kind of move on to your mystery game. The I
Yeah.
did start 7
Okay.
as I had as I had promised. Reason why I didn't move on to any other game was just because I felt like going from 6 to 7 immediately would be better just to get like the few hours of 7 that I was going to play out of the way because I was only going to go through the Midgard section. Um, and I wanted to feel that jump, like that true jump from 2D to 3D.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, it's like I get that I haven't finished the Midgard section, but I have enough to fully like say what I wanted to say about it. Like I've gone through like I just finished like the wall market section, like you
Oh,
know,
okay. Yeah.
I've gotten pretty decently far in there to make my kind of my initial judgment thoughts that I wanted to say. Like first off, like the designs are great. The um level designs are just like it's all stuff I've seen before, but like it's putting it in the context of this came right after 7. I mean right after 6. You feel the stark difference, it's
Yeah.
um hugely ambitious. Like it,
Yeah.
and I think one of the interesting things about like remake to the original is I think I never really noticed before and known before how I feel like I'm gonna upset some Final Fantasy fans by saying this right now. How 1-to-1 remake is to the original. Like, obviously, it's massively expanded upon all that stuff, but essentially, all dialogue that was in the original is in the remake. Like, even
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
this this is what surprised me. Even the references to Zack was in the original game.
Oh, yeah.
Did not know that. I thought that was a retcon that came with Crisis Core, And I was like, I was not prepared for that. I was like, uh, that's interesting. And I think that, you know, the fights are fun, like all that. The gameplay. See, if I went from remake to the original, like if I played remake and went right to the original, I would have absolutely hated the combat. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But feeling that, starting from Final Fantasy 1 and getting so used to that combat system, old combat system, that
Hmm.
7 just feels like riding a bike at that point, right? So,
Yeah. No, that
that
makes perfect
that's
sense.
in order to really understand like the real peak Final Fantasy games, I feel like you should at least play one early game just so you can feel that evolution. And
Sure.
I think that uh ultimately it's fun. I'm glad I got to see the original look to it. It's what I wanted to do, and um obviously I'm going to hold off any more judgment on it because I want to save that finale for part 3. So,
Yeah.
um I mean, I'll probably play through the remainder of the Midgard section, but I'm stopping after that. I probably only have 2 or 3 more hours left, which is kind of crazy to think because you fly through that whole Midgard section.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, any thoughts before we kind of move on?
No, I'm just yeah, I think it's I think it's interesting that um I think you bring up the combat, and I think that's such an interesting thing about this experiment that you're doing, because I
Right.
think you're probably right. I think like had you gone straight from remake into the original, I think you probably would have been really jarred and been like,
Yeah.
I just can't do this.
Yeah.
But having that buffer of 6 Final Fantasy games at this point,
Hmm.
uh, I think does really, yeah, I think that did really set you up for success.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say I'm really interested to hear what you think of 8.
Yep. That is
Um,
coming.
eight is the I think it for me it's like 8, 10, 13,
Hmm.
and 15, I guess, are like the main ones that I'm interested in hearing from you about.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
8 is coming. I'm gonna take some time before I get to 8. I'm a work on my mystery game, which I have ready to go, and then I'm gonna do our book club, and then I'll go to 8. So I'm thinking ultimately May is probably when I get to 8. So
sure, yeah,
just a little bit of a break, but yeah,
yeah,
I think personally this is a good place to stop, just so I have that
yeah.
break because like I think I mentioned this the last time. I'm ready to kind of play a different game, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Also, before we get off of this, I just want to say to the audience, yes, today we did do Final Fantasy 6, 7. Uh, just yeah, just so you know that I know we did
I
Final
didn't
Fantasy
even
6, 7.
I didn't even notice
You
that.
said like 6 to 7 at least twice, and I was like, does he know? Uh,
No, that's really funny. But I mean, those two games, you gotta. A lot of people want you to compare those two, so that's what
yeah,
that's what I was doing. Um, but yeah, so I guess it's time for my final guess now, isn't it?
it's time.
I don't think my final guess is right, but I want it to be right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No,
No,
I
it
think it
can't.
makes perfect sense.
Never mind. It can't be that. I'll tell you what I thought it might have been later, but it can't be that one.
Okay, I want to hear your
You
actual
said
guess, and then I want you to say what you were gonna guess.
because you said you played it but never actually beat it. So, um, and Super Mario Sunshine.
Ooh, no. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Rayman
Oh no, not Rayman.
because I
Not a
know that.
Nintendo game.
Oh yeah, I know, but I thought maybe you played it on Nintendo. But yeah,
No.
that's what I wanted you to, to
No.
say.
So yeah, maybe I haven't told you this story. Not a Mario game either.
Okay.
So uh I played the 3DS remake of this game a while
Mm.
ago, very very long time ago. I also played it like a lot, like the on the GameCube collection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have very fond memories of being at my grandparents' house and grinding away at the water temple. I uh, but then for some reason I don't remember exactly what happened, but when I was about to like beat the 3DS remake, like I was at the
Mm-hmm.
end, I died in the final encounter, or like something happened
Oh, I
where
get
I
you.
had to restart the whole final encounter. And I was just like, you know what? I know how this game ends. Everybody knows how
Mm.
this game ends. I just I don't have this in me anymore. I'm done.
Right.
So I have never, until literally today, as of recording this, rolled credits on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Oh, interesting.
So I I really don't know exactly what came over me. I was just like, you know what? I want to play Ocarina of Time. I want to actually beat it this time. So what I did was I legally obtained a ROM of Ocarina of Time, and if you don't know, the community decompiled The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time a couple of years ago now. It's been a while. And with that, they were able to make a native PC port out of it.
Yeah.
And you can play it on anything. You can play it on like Macs and stuff, and like Steam. And you can put it on your Steam Deck,
Mm.
obviously, if you wanted to. Really cool project. It's called the Ship of Harkinian, which I don't know what that's a reference to exactly. But uh, so yeah, I played that, and I went into it. I think like discourse over the years has really poisoned Ocarina of Time for me, in the sense of like there's so many people who like swear that no video game has ever topped Ocarina of Time, and I just want to like punch somebody every time I hear that. I'm like, have you not
Mm.
played any video games?
Right.
um like you can have it as your favorite game of all time, but I just like don't pretend that there hasn't been other video games that are also really good.
Yeah.
um so I kind of went in being like, I know it hasn't like aged super gracefully, like there, I'm prepared to have like a lot of issues, and I'm not gonna say it's like a flawless game, but I will say it, I was like, man, I forgot how peak this was. Like it's
Yeah.
like Ocarina of Time is just a really really good video game.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things where it took some real distance, like me having some real distance from that game, for me to be able to appreciate it again. Um, I think, I mean, having the PC port really did help, like, you know, because
Yeah.
there's the higher frame rates, there's like fun like cosmetic stuff and quality of life stuff where, like, you know, you can up like the climbing speed and how quickly it takes you to push blocks and stuff. So I think all that stuff kind of contributed, but I think the core of Ocarina of Time is just so like fun. I think
Yeah.
the writing and like the character acting is like surprisingly charming. The Like, there are some moments where I like genuinely laughed out loud. Like there's this moment where I think it's uh it's after the Dodongo's cavern, where
Hmm.
the Goron leader, like, you appear like right outside the entrance, and Link is just like kind of standing there, and then like uh the Goron leader like appears out of, like, he like lands right in front of Link, and then like he's like, "Yeah, you're my best friend. We're brothers now, my blood." And then he like smacks Link and like knocks him over, and Link is like on the ground for a full like minute during the cutscene. Like he's just sitting there while the Goron leader is talking to him, and I'm like, all right, this is really funny. And then there's also like there are these funny bits where uh while you're still a child and you're getting the, if you don't know, in Ocarina of Time, it starts out, you have to collect these three sacred stones or whatever they're called, and then you go and then you unlock you pull the master sword, fly to the future, and then you get seven medallions and yada
Hmm.
yada. In the child timeline, when you're getting the sacred stones, when you get the Goron one and the Zora one, uh, there are these little bits where the text will go like, "You're not sure what Ruto means when she says you're gonna marry her someday, but you got the stone, so good job." There's like some genuinely like there is some like really funny stuff in Ocarina of Time.
Hmm.
And like I'm not uh Zelda's always been, you know, humorous, but I have kind of always thought of the N64 Zelda games as a little bit on the like more sort of like more stoic coming of age style, rather than you know, like Wind Waker and even like Twilight Princess are like, you know, very shonen in their method of humor delivery. So it was fun to have some of that. And yeah, I mean, I think, you know, there were a few boss fights that I thought were absolutely stupid. Uh I
Yeah.
definitely used a guide for more than one dungeon. Just
Yeah.
because I was like, mostly because like I could not be fussed about the water temple. I was just like, there's no way. I'm not doing this to myself. Um, like when I eventually do another Twilight Princess playthrough, I'm doing the exact same thing when I play that water temple. Like it's just not happening. Um,
Right.
so yeah, peak. I'm gonna play Majora's Mask. I'm pretty resolved to do that. I've never finished that game. I've only ever gotten through the water temple
Yeah.
or the forest temple in that game, um, or whatever it's called. I think it's, I don't remember what
Right.
it's called, but the woodland temple or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
But
I,
that's I yeah, the like big hole in my Zelda fandom is Majora's Mask. So
Yeah. The I mean, Ocarina of Time, like I remember playing it, and you know, I've said this before. I played it when I was younger at a friend's house, and I played
yeah,
a decent amount of it, but I can't remember first thing about that game
yeah,
other than I will never get out of my head of the way it looks specifically. Like the level designs, certain gameplay mechanics, like there's
yeah,
just some stuff that has been so ingrained. I've played so many games since that point, and if that's one game that I want to get back to out of the Zelda series, it's probably that one.
yeah,
Like eventually one day I will get back to it. I'd rather do Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom first, but
sure,
you know, Ocarina of Time,
yeah,
that's a bucket list. So that's pretty cool to hear that you got back through it
yeah.
and played it.
Yeah, no, that yeah, Ocarina of Time absolutely like I think it's on that list of like, Chrono Trigger, uh maybe like the original Super Mario Brothers, uh the very short list of like, yeah, you should at least give this game a shot. Um
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a very very small
Hmm.
list of games. Like I like
Yeah.
I don't think that's uh
Absolutely.
I wouldn't dare put, Xenoblade 3 on that list, even though
Uh-uh.
Xenoblade 3 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I absolutely think I think it's one of those games where like I understand looking at it, it's like, oh man, it looks so old, and it does. But I
Hmm.
think that shouldn't automatically disqualify it for you. Plus, if you're gonna
Right.
play the Ship of Harkinian stuff, you could install a texture pack and make it look a
Mm.
little prettier if you want to. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. All righty. So,
Okay.
okay.
Because you didn't guess Ocarina of
Hmm.
Time, I'm gonna take a crack at your mystery game. I'll just
Okay.
guess. I'll just guess one time,
Okay.
and the method I'm going to use for guessing is I am going to look at my. Where's my? Oh, here we go. I'm going to look at the tournament that I made for you
Hmm.
because you were nervous that your mystery game was going to be.
Keep in mind, I didn't know
You
what
didn't
was going to be on
know,
the list,
but you
and I
were
was nervous.
nervous about it. I'm going to guess Lies of P. Did I get it?
You did get it, actually. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
good at this.
Oh man, I thought I did a
Uh
good job selling it. I
you
thought I
did.
was in the
You
clear on
did.
that.
So here's how I got there. Uh I I was thinking about I was thinking about how the tournament went,
Hmm.
And I realized that Lies of P moved on. Like it won a round, but then
Yeah,
lost to.
I think it lost third round because I tried to
Yeah,
get it
it
like
lost
close.
to Lies of P. It lost to Fire Emblem, and I remember that absolutely. I forgot how much that blew my mind at the time. But I was thinking about it, and I like just now the thought process was like, what if he let it go so far just because he wanted to sell that he was like giving it up for something else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh
yeah, yeah.
so
You got me on that one.
all right, all right, well I
That
look
was good.
hey, I'm happy. I'm really happy with myself on this one. I'm and I'm really excited to hear what you think about Liza P.
Yep.
So
I'll be starting that very, very soon, probably within the next day or so. So I mean,
nice.
it's already downloaded and ready to go. So I just wanted to quickly fire off Final Fantasy VII real quick,
Yeah,
just to get that because my original plan was, oh, I'll wait for Final Fantasy VII until I play 8. You know what I mean? But I was like, no, I kind of want to feel that technological leap
sure.
instantly. So I beat 6 and like played 7 immediately
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah,
Like I opened it up, but and I know I'll have the discipline to stop on 7 because I just don't want to even advance in the story at all. So, um,
no, I get
yeah,
you.
Lies of P is next up on the list, and then Fire Emblem. But
Lies of Peak.
I had that like stored, and I'm like, oh no, I already knew it was going to be in that tournament. I was like, oh boy, how am I going to sell this one? And
So, and you did
yeah,
at the time. You got me
I
at the
did.
time.
I I got off that podcast and I felt very proud of myself on that one. And I
Yeah.
was like, yes.
No, it was solely the benefit of hindsight that
Yeah.
helped me here. So,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I do really look forward to hearing about what you think about Eliza P.
Mm,
And
yeah.
yeah, and
Coming
Fire
soon.
Emblem Three Houses.
Well, how long is Liza P as far as story
Um,
wise? I haven't
I,
even I meant to look this up earlier.
I think my first playthrough took like 30 hours or
I
so.
think that I think that would sound about right. Um Yeah, it's I mean, just doing an AI overview, it's 30 to 45 hours. So,
Yeah.
yeah, roughly. I hopefully by the next podcast I'll be close to done.
Okay.
That would be kind of my goal. I don't know. I don't want to necessarily guarantee that I'll have it done, but I feel like I'll be close to done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Fire Emblem. Maybe I'll squeeze in the start of Fire Emblem as well somewhere in there.
My
So,
only advice, now that I know that you're playing Lies of P, my
hmm,
only advice is to like you're gonna die a lot,
yeah,
but don't think of the dying as like progress lost.
yeah,
Think of it more as like a level in a video game.
yeah.
Like think of it less like a world to explore and more like a video game level. That's the best way I could
Okay.
describe it. Like it's very much um the antithesis of like an Assassin's Creed or even like a Zelda where
Hmm.
where I actually feel more like I'm playing something more akin to like a Mario or a Mega Man when I'm playing something like Lies of P, in the sense of it's not about the again, like the exploration as much as it's about the like the mastery over the level design, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. And
No,
the
I
boss
get it.
design.
I mean, it's going to be my first Souls like, so
Yeah.
like true Souls like. So
Yeah.
it'll be a real big test for me into this
Yeah.
genre. So, and that's also why I didn't choose to let Elden Ring go far into that um,
No, that's
bracket.
that's fair. That's fair.
I thought I played that off pretty well too.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah.
okay, well,
Well,
I guess with that, I hope you all enjoyed,
yeah.
and we're sorry we liked that.